Magandang oras mga ka-Good News Daily TV. Meron tayong bigyan ng reaksyon dito, ang history ng pamamaslang o pamimitay nitong IRGC led by Ali Khamenei na nag-umpisa noong 1979 na nabudol-budol ang mga Iranian nitong mga ayatollah. Dahil napakaganda ng buhay ng Iran noon, very progressive ang kanilang gobyerno noon, napakaraming factory, napakaraming investors ng Iran noong 1970s. Dahil yan sa monarchy government led by Prince Reza Pahlavi. Di ba yung si Pahlavi ousted president dahil sa mga ayatollah. Akala ng mga Iranian noon na itong mga ayatollah na nagpakalat ng mga naratibo, nagpakalat ng kwento na dapat daw i-overthrow ang monarchy dahil yan ay western, dahil yan ay galing yan sa western part ng UK kasi nagiging Iran noon parang nagiging colony ng Great Britain. Kaya itong si Prince Pahlavi ay parang monarchy ang form of government, parang sa United Kingdom. Kaya very western siya, at yan ang ayaw ng mga extremist na mga ayatollah na yan. Kaya akala ng mga Iranian na totoo yung sinasabi ng mga ayatollah, pero sa bandang huli napakalaki ng pagsisisi nila, kasi sila mismo na kapag magsalita ng masama sa mga ayatollah ay pinagbibitay, pinagbabaril, firing squad. At ayon sa ulat, 1 million mahigit na umpisa noong 1979 pag-upo nitong tatay ni Ali Khamenei na si Ruhollah Khomeini. Ay pag-upo noon ay nagumpisa na kaagad ng shooting, ng firing squad at ng pagbibitay. At hanggang sa ngayon, sa 40 years na nakaraan ay meron ng 1 million lahat na in-execute nitong Ayatollah regime led by Ruhollah Khomeini, na tatay ni Ali Khamenei at ni Ali Khamenei mismo. Kaya ito ang video atin panoorin courtesy ng isang channel na napakagandang channel na to.
By 1978, protests had begun spreading through Iranian cities. Demonstrations often started peacefully, but sometimes escalated into violent confrontations with security forces. Each clash increased public anger and encouraged more people to join the movement. Workers organized strikes that disrupted major industries, and religious leaders openly criticized the government. The momentum of the revolution grew stronger with every passing month. On January 16, 1979, the Shah left Iran. His departure was widely seen as the collapse of the monarchy. Crowds celebrated across the country, believing they had finally overthrown decades of authoritarian rule.
At isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit gustong patalsikin din ng mamamayan sa Iran noon si Prince Reza Pahlavi dahil sa natuklasan nila na ang angkan pala ni Prince Pahlavi ay galing sa mga Israelites. Ang kanyang religion secretly ay a Jewish religion, isang Hudyo. So Israelites by heart si Prince Pahlavi. Kaya ito ang dahilan na pinatalsik nila, lalo na ginatungan sila ng mga ayatollah. Ito yung religious sector ng Iran, mga ayatollah, mga clerics. Ginatungan sila na ang dapat mamahala sa Iran ay isang totoong Muslim. Kaya dito nag-umpisa ang hindi akalain ng mga Iranian na problema sa kanilang pamumuhay. 40 years, 4 na decade na pinahirapan sila nitong mga ayatollah na ito, lalo na ni Ali Khamenei.
Only weeks later, on February 1st, monarchy fell apart. Military commanders refused to fight the revolutionaries, government officials fled the country, and revolutionary groups seized control of key government buildings and broadcasting stations. By February 11th, 1979, the Iranian Revolution had succeeded, but victory created a new challenge. The revolutionary leadership now needed to establish control over a country that was politically unstable and deeply divided. Many leaders believed that swift punishment of former officials would prevent counter-revolution and strengthen the new government. To accomplish this, they established a new legal system known as the Revolutionary Courts. These courts operated very differently from traditional judicial systems. Their goal was speed. Defendants accused of crimes against the revolution were brought before judges who sometimes delivered verdicts within hours. Defense lawyers were rarely present, and trials often took place behind closed doors. The punishment most frequently delivered by these courts was death. The first executions occurred only days after the revolution's victory. On February 15, 1979, several senior officials connected to the Shah's government were brought before a revolutionary court in Tehran. They were accused of ordering violence against protesters during the final months of the monarchy. The trials lasted only a few hours. Once the verdicts were announced, the condemned men were taken to the rooftop of the building where the proceedings had taken place. Guards lined them up against a wall. Armed soldiers raised their rifles. Moments later, the shots were fired. The first executions of the new revolutionary government were complete. Photographs of the bodies were soon published in newspapers and broadcast across the country. The government wanted the public to see the outcome. The message was unmistakable. The revolution would deal harshly with those it considered enemies. In the months that followed, executions became more frequent. Revolutionary courts expanded their reach, targeting military officers, intelligence agents, and individuals accused of collaborating with the former regime. One of the most influential judges during this period was a cleric named Sadig Kalkali. Known for delivering extremely rapid verdicts, Kalkali gained a reputation as one of the most powerful figures in the revolutionary justice system. Some trials lasted less than half an hour. Defendants were accused of crimes such as corruption on earth or waging war against God. Under the revolutionary legal system, these charges often led directly to execution, but firing squads were only one method used during this period. Soon, another form of execution became widely visible across Iran: public hanging. In many cases, these executions took place in city squares where crowds gathered to watch. Construction cranes were often used instead of traditional gallows. The condemned prisoner would stand beneath the crane while a rope was secured around their neck. Once the rope was tightened, the crane slowly lifted the prisoner into the air. Unlike traditional hanging methods designed to break the neck instantly, this technique often caused death by strangulation. The process could take several minutes. For authorities, these public executions served a purpose. They were meant to send a warning. They demonstrated that the revolutionary government held absolute authority over life and death. As Iran entered the 1980s, the political situation became even more complicated. In September 1980, Iraq launched a large-scale invasion of Iran, beginning the devastating Iran-Iraq War. The conflict would last nearly 8 years and claim hundreds of thousands of lives. During wartime, the government became even less tolerant of dissent. Individuals accused of espionage, sabotage, or collaboration with enemy forces were brought before revolutionary courts and often sentenced to death. Executions continued inside prisons and sometimes in public spaces. The political climate intensified again in 1981, when opposition groups organized protests against the government. Several bombings struck Tehran, killing high-ranking officials and deepening fears of instability. The government responded with a nationwide crackdown. Now, thousands of suspected opposition members were arrested. Inside prisons, such as Evin Prison, executions became increasingly frequent. Prisoners were brought before judges and sometimes sentenced within minutes.
Dito naman sa kanilang execution na bitay ay binago nila yung estilo na imbis na madali yung pagkamatay ng binitay ay pinahirapan muna nila ito gamit ang crane. Ito'y binitay talaga nila na hindi napuputol yung ugat sa liig, kaya matagal mamatay ang tao at naghihirap. Kaya hindi ito makataong klaseng bitay, hindi kagaya ito na bitay ng ibang bansa katulad sa Western America noon sa panahon ng cowboy. Ang bitay noon ay mabilis ang pagkamatay, segundo lang, dahil napuputol yung ugat sa liig dahil binabagsak yung tao. Kaya nagpakita lang na ang rehimen na ito ay makademonyo at hindi makatao. Dahil sa ganitong klaseng pagbibitay, ginagamitan ng crane. At makikita talaga ng publiko. Talagang ginawa nilang parang libangan ang pagbibitay ng tao. At hindi lang yan, mga ka-Golden Boy, ay ayon sa survey, ay meron ng umabot na 1 million mahigit ang binitay, pinaring squad, pinaslang nitong tinatawag na Kamini government. Magmula kay Ruhula hanggang kay Ali Kamini ay mayroon ng 1 million mahigit na pinaslang ang rehimen na ito.
The most controversial chapter occurred in the summer of 1988, near the end of the Iran-Iraq War. Special panels, later called death commissions, were established inside prisons to review the cases of political prisoners already serving sentences. Prisoners were questioned about their political beliefs. Those who refused to renounce their affiliations with opposition groups often faced execution. Thousands of prisoners were killed during these weeks. Many were buried in secret graves. Hanif families were often never told what had happened. By the end of the 1980s, Iran had developed one of the highest execution rates in the world relative to its population. Supporters of the government argued that these measures were necessary to defend the revolution during a time of war and political instability. Critics, however, described the system as one of the harshest execution policies of the modern era. Regardless of perspective, the events of those years left a lasting impact on Iranian society. The revolution that began with hopes for justice had also created a system where executions became one of the most powerful instruments of authority. And decades later, the debates surrounding those decisions continued, because when revolutions reshape nations, the consequences often echo far beyond the moment of victory.
Right, so yan yung kumpletong kwento since 1979, start sa pag-upo nitong mga ayatollah ng tatay ni Ali Khamenei hanggang kay Ali Khamenei, at sana ipapasa yun kay Mujtaba Khamenei na anak ni Ali Khamenei. Kaya kung mangyari yun na from lolo to tatay to apo, ang magiging ano diyan sa Iran, ano na lang mangyayari sa Iran kung ganon, di ba? Na pinagpapatay lang ang mga Iranian, kahit na nagprotesta lang ay pinagpapatay na dahil sa paniniwala na yan na medieval pa. At hindi lang yan ay yung pera ng Iran ay napunta lamang sa budget para sa paggawa ng mga bomba, ng mga missiles at pagbabayad ng mga proxy group sa Hezbollah, sa Hamas at sa Houthi. Paki-comment sa ating comment section mga kababayan. Ako'y magpaalam na. Maraming salamat sa lahat. At sa mga bago pa lamang nakabisita, malaking tulong ang pag-subscribe sa aking Ebed followers. Ako'y saludo sa inyo. Hanggang sa muli. Paalam.